Hello and welcome to our re-recording of webinar number 8 in our Digital Marketing Mastery How-To series. This is actually, as I said, a re-record because when we did the original webinar, the recording didn't work properly. So I'm going through and re-recording this here today for you. So welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Facebook paid traffic and how to use Facebook paid traffic for your funnel and to really fuel your funnel in a couple of different ways. So we'll get into that here in just a minute. I think most of you know who I am. My name's Tom Burton, and so I won't spend a lot of time here. And let's jump right into what we're going to get into today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is why Facebook paid traffic. Why would we want to use Facebook paid traffic and the value of that? Then we're going to get into the Facebook ad platform basics. It's called the Ad Manager, so we're going to talk about the Ad Manager and how that works. We'll talk about different Facebook ad types. We'll talk about ad reporting, and then we'll talk about a cool technique called retargeting, where we can actually get people in our follow-up zone who have fallen out of our funnel and use ads in Facebook and paid promotion to bring them back into the funnel. So these are really the main things that we're going to be talking about here today. And let's just jump right into it. So why Facebook paid traffic? And I get this question a lot. People are often ask me like, well, why should I have to pay for traffic? Or I don't want to pay money to Facebook for traffic. Why should I do that? Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, there's just 1.4 billion people on Facebook. 80% of those people are active on Facebook every day. But more important than that, a more important statistic as we care about, is in the US, on average, people check their Facebook account 15 times per day. Now, most people have Facebook on their phone. They have the Facebook app on their mobile phone. And in the same way you would check email, or check, text messages, if you're sitting around or waiting for something or doing something, people go to Facebook, predominantly on their mobile phone, and check that on an average of 15 times a day. That's more than people check email. It's certainly more than they check other social media channels. And not only are a lot of people checking it a lot of times, but there's a lot of people doing it. So to me, what you want to go to where the exposure is. And there's no better place right now to get exposure than there is on Facebook, just in terms of volume of people and just the frequency of how they're using it and how much they're actually using the platform. And with all that said, Facebook has set it up in a way that it's a very, very good way of getting on-demand, targeted, and inexpensive traffic. So if I want traffic into my funnel, I can basically create a promotion, as we're going to see here in a minute, turn it on, and within an hour, I've got traffic coming into my funnel. I mean, it's qualified traffic. It's people that we want. What's not good about this? It's easy, it's in good enough volume, and it is very, very relatively inexpensive compared to other traffic sources. Facebook has done a really good job also of building reporting tools and management tools and using analytics so that you have good data so you can do even more and more better job on your targeting. They've really done a nice job and continue to do a nice job on making the whole ad platform easy to use and very useful. And I guess the bottom line and the most important thing is it just works. Out of all the paid traffic sources, up to this point, I have not found a better one across the board in terms of getting quantity as well as quality of traffic. And especially when you're doing cold traffic, it just works. So to me, if something works, it's worth investing in. Obviously, the job of our funnel is to make sure that we take that investment in that paid traffic and turn it into a good return on that investment so that we're making more money than we're spending. But the whole goal the whole opportunity here is it just works. And that's why we really want to pay special attention to Facebook paid traffic. So as we go back to our famous funnel here, right, we're going to be using or looking at how we can use Facebook paid traffic in a couple of different ways. We're going to be, first of all, looking at how you can use it as a cold traffic source. So as a traffic source to fuel your funnel. So over here we have our traffic sources and we're taking people from Facebook and we're moving them into our funnel, into our nurture zone and so on. The second way we're going to look at it as retargeting. So if somebody falls out of our nurture our conversion zone and doesn't complete, then we have an opportunity to use Facebook paid promotions and Facebook ads to send very targeted ads back to these people who have already come into our funnel. And that's called retargeting. And so that's what this little picture is here, is that really represents Facebook retargeting and using Facebook to bring people back in to our funnel when they fall out, and hence the follow-up zone there. So that's kind of putting things in context of how we're using Facebook paid promotions. We're not just using them for the sake of using them, we're using them for a very specific purpose, which is to fuel our funnel and to follow up and to do follow-ups within our funnel. Now, the picture I'm showing here is a screenshot of my Facebook newsfeed, and I just wanted to take a minute and show you a little bit about how this all manifests in the Facebook world. So what you'll see here is that this is the Facebook newsfeed, and you see here it says rapid crash, and underneath that it says sponsored. So what this means is that this company did a paid promotion to get a post or this ad in this case into my newsfeed. Now, if I look at this, and this is not a very good promotion actually. We'll talk about this here in a minute, but this is hard to follow, right? If I'm scrolling through my Facebook newsfeed and I see this, there's really nothing that jumps out at me that grabs my attention. The image, frankly, is not very good. It's not very, it looks very bland and generic. It's a lot of writing. This is not really clear. It's not clear to me what they're doing. I guess some sort of info product. So this is not very good, honestly. But what they're trying to do here, as you'll see down here, it says click here, start your product creation. Or if I click this button or I click the image, excuse me, I'm going to be taken into their funnel. So they're using this just the same way we're trying to do as a way to attract me as cold traffic into their funnel. I haven't done this, so I don't know where I'd end up or what landing page it would look like. But like I said, as far as an ad goes, and remember the job of an ad here is to just do nothing but attract enough attention and get enough interest where I would click through. This is not very good, and I'm going to show you some hopefully better examples here in a couple of minutes. Over here, you see that there's also ads over on what's called the right-hand column. These are called newsfeed ads. The ones that are over here are called right-hand column. And you'll see those obviously look a little bit different. They're smaller. I generally do not use right-hand column ads for cold traffic. I will consider right-hand column ads for retargeting. And we'll see when we get into the Facebook ad creation process, you'll see when it will ask you, do you want to put the ad in the newsfeed or do you want to put it in the right-hand column? You can do both. And the question that comes up a lot is it more expensive to run them in the newsfeed versus the right-hand column? Believe it or not, generally I have not found that to be true. I found the cost to be about the same. So, and obviously I've seen much better results in the newsfeed, so I definitely want to take advantage of the newsfeed whenever possible and focus on that part of it. Okay, so with that in mind, let's jump in and actually, and that's what we're going to spend the most of this presentation on today, is actually in Facebook. So we're going to jump in, take a look at these different things, and get familiar with the tools and everything else that's in Facebook. And the best way to do that is to do it live. I'm going to take this chance to grab a quick drink of water, and let's get into it. Okay, so let me go back up to, we'll come back here in a minute. So what I'm going to show you here is called the Facebook Ad Manager. And the way that to create an ad manager account, what you're going to want to do is go to business.facebook.com and create a business Facebook account. And then at that point, it will allow you to set up your ad manager account. You can do an ad manager under your personal page, but Facebook, if you're going to be doing business-related ads, they want you to do it under the business account. And so I would definitely take the time to go set up a business account with Facebook. It's pretty easy to do. If you have questions, there's a million YouTube videos and things out there on how to do it. So go ahead and set up a Facebook business account, and then that will allow you to set up your ad manager account. You'll need a credit card to actually create and start an ad, but you don't need a credit card to go in and start using the ad manager. So this is the ad manager, and there's kind of three levels as it relates to the ad manager. At the highest level is what's called a campaign. So I'll take here, for example, it says Allergy Rescue Campaign. And then within a campaign, I can have different sets of ads. So here I have three sets of ads. I have some ads for a specific landing page I was doing. I have some ads for retargeting, and then I have some ads that were for the main part of the campaign. So I have three, in this case, three sets of ads, but you can have any number of sets of ads. And then within each ad set, you have the actual ads themselves. And we're going to get into this here in a minute, so I don't want to spend time on it now. But I just wanted to go through and show you that there's a hierarchy in the, and you'll see this when we start creating the ad, in the ad manager, which is composed of campaigns, ad sets, and then the actual ads themselves. But the first thing I want to do here is I actually want to go in and create a Facebook ad and show you how to do that. And then we'll come back here to the ad manager and see how you can actually use the ad manager once you've created an ad and a campaign and so on. So I'm going to click over here and say create ad. And the first thing you're going to see here is the ability to, you'll see here there's many different objectives. And when you create a paid promotion or an ad in Facebook, it's very important that you select the right objective. And I want to take a minute and walk through each of these objectives so you know what they are and get an idea of when to use them. So the first one here is, let's say your objective is to just boost a post that you have on your Facebook business page or your fan page, right? So you put a post out there and you want to get paid to get more people to do it. It would do it by selecting the boost your post objective. The second one is let's say you want to actually get likes on your Facebook page. So you're not just promoting a post, you're promoting your whole page. Well, the second objective here then is about doing things that are going to promote your overall page and get people to like your page. And we've talked about, in previous webinars, reasons for doing that. Well, this is specifically where you would do it, is on the promote your page option. Now, this is where it's going to be predominantly what we care about, at least as it relates to our funnel, is where it says sending people to your website. Well, okay, that could be to your website or to a landing page or into our funnel. So a lot of cases we're going to want to use this objective, which is sending people into our funnel as it relates to cold traffic. In fact, as it relates to our funnel, this would probably be the only one we would use. We possibly could use the second one. We would only use the second one if we were actually selling products or selling, if we had an e-commerce or we were taking money right on our website or in our funnel, then we could use this one. But if you're just trying to send people into your funnel, maybe to make an appointment or to do something where they're not going to actually buy something, then I would use this one. If they're going to buy something, then I would use this one. But these are the two that we will be predominantly caring about and focusing on. The next two are if you're dealing with mobile apps, so they have specific ad objectives. If you've got a mobile app that you're trying to get people to install or to use, probably not too relevant for most of you. This next one is kind of a cool one, especially if you have a local business. This is an ad objective to reach people, as it says, near your business. And what it does is it uses geolocation on a mobile phone. So you could then say, okay, if somebody is within a quarter mile of my business, have an ad or a promotion show up on Facebook for them. So it's dynamic based upon their location relative to your business. You could even set it up that if they're walking within, walking in my front door, or they're walking in my store, maybe they get an ad. I mean, it's very, very specific of what they're doing. So there's a lot of interesting things that can be done if you're a local physical business and you're trying to reach people near your business. If you're doing an event, there's specific ads for that. There's specific ads for doing like coupons and offers. Excuse me. And last but not least is video views. This has become more and more popular and is a way to, in fact, it very well can be used, as a way to drive people into your funnel as well. But Facebook is really putting a lot of emphasis on videos, so you can run video ads, I call them video commercials, excuse me, very inexpensively. And Facebook really gives them a lot of preference because they're really trying to do a lot with video type things. So those are the different ad objectives. What I'm going to do for the purpose of our example here is go back up and select send people to your website. Now, the first thing that it's going to do here is it's going to ask me where I want to send somebody where do I want to send them. So in other words, if they click on the ad, where do they go? And for this example, what I'm going to use is the funnel that we've talked about a few different times, the one I built for the allergy rescue piece. This is the landing page for that funnel. So if I go here and I just take and copy this URL and put it here, then that will be the actual way that I'm going to link from there into my funnel or into my landing page. So then the next step is who do I want to reach? And we've talked a bit about targeting, I know, in one of the earlier webinars, so I won't spend a lot of time with that right here, but there's actually quite a bit of things you can do as it relates to targeting your audience. So obviously I can pick a location that I'm trying to reach. I can pick an age range. I can pick a bunch of different demographics from relationship status, education level, financial. You can see that there's all kinds of data here. Facebook knows more about you probably, or more about us than we know about ourselves. There's other categories of things that we care about, that people like fast food and so on. So there's different categories and so on that you can select from. But probably the most important one is the interest category. So we're trying to find people that have interest or care about certain things. Now, if I were doing this allergy rescue, maybe the first one I would look at is there anything in here for pet allergy? No, there's nothing in there for that. Let's see, is there anything for dog allergy? Oh, it turns out that there is. There's a couple. So there's dog allergies and there's dog allergy. And so what this is saying is that how many different people have expressed an interest in dog allergy or dog allergies. Well, the problem is that in the United States, if I were worldwide, there's quite a few, but if I'm just trying to target people in the US, there's fewer than 1,000. So that's really kind of too small. So maybe I would just do dogs. That probably is going to be too broad, but maybe, I know Boston Terriers, for example, tend to have allergy problems. So maybe I'll find people that are interested in Boston Terriers. Well, you see now that brings up my reach to 610,000 people. And so now I'm saying find people that are interested in dog allergies and Boston Terriers. And so this is now saying that this ad is going to go to people between the ages of 18 and 65 in the US who have these interests. Okay, so that seems like it could be at least reach the right type of people. And again, I could categorize by other behaviors, things that they like. There's all kinds of things. It'll be well worth it getting in here and just playing around and seeing what's possible, because there's really a lot you can do with targeting. Then the next thing you do is you set up your budget. I always start with a $5 per day budget. We can always raise later. So I just leave that defaulted at $5. You can set a start and end date. So if you want to have a start and an end date for the ad, you can do that. The rest of these just, I wouldn't worry about these, just leave them as they are. And then the next thing is you're going to go and actually create your ad. Now, there's a couple of ways to create an ad. You can put, and you'll see down here, well, let's take this first example. Let's say that we just want to have a single image in our ad. So I'm going to go here and select images. Oops, don't want to do that. Let's browse the library. Okay, so let's use this one. Okay, so what you see is I selected an image of a dog with some household toxins and things like that around the dog. And I selected that image, and this now starts to show up in my ad preview. Now you see over here immediately, right, is that we have the desktop news feed, we have mobile news feed and right column and so on. These are just like we showed before. Where do we want the ad to actually show up? But as I'm building the ad, it will show me what the ad's starting to look like over here in the preview section over here. So But I can also, if I wanted to, I could put a video in there, and I could also put multiple images in there as well. And this is called a carousel ad, where you could actually have 5 images. So let's say you had different products that you were selling, or you had multiple images that you want to kind of tell a story with or whatever. This is you can do this the same way. So you could put one image, one video, or multiple images in the ad, and it's not going to cost any more. It's just how you want your ad to do and what you want it to accomplish. And the carousel ads are quite effective. They're quite effective at attracting attention. Now you'll notice here that they're talking a lot about Instagram. This is new, where you can actually place ads on Instagram. At the time I'm recording this, I haven't done it, so I haven't done a lot with putting ads on Instagram, but it's something that I would like to take a look at and will take a look at going forward. But for now, I would just stay focused on the Facebook, and I would probably just say remove Instagram as a placement. And you'll see down here that it removed it as an option that it was going to show. Okay, now on the ad itself, there's actually 3 places that you can put data. There is the headline, which is the main piece down here. And I could put something like it's probably not the way I would actually set up the ad, but I'll just show you as an example. So you see as I type that in, it will go and change it down here. So this is considered the headline. The text is up here. I always like to put a very simple question in there. So I would say something like, do you own a dog and have allergy problems that you have not been able to solve? So you'll see now, this will actually put that up here. I always want to start this first part of the ad with a question. And the reason is because I want to use this as a way to continue to qualify the person who clicks on the ad, but also if somebody's skimming through their Facebook account and they see that question and it resonates, then they're likely to grab their attention and stop. So if you remember that one I was showing you on the one I had, it had all kinds of stuff here, and it was like hard to read and it just wasn't clear. So I recommend a very simple 1-sentence question that you put up here on the first part of the ad. Then what I would do down here in the description is I would put in, check out the 3 secrets to handling dog allergies that your vet may not have shared with you. And actually what I would do is I'd be more specific. I would say click to check out the 3 secrets to handling dog allergies at your vet. So I would make it really clear that they're moving into a funnel, and you'll see then the ad would look like this, and then they could go and click either on the ad or actually in the Learn More, and either way those would take them into my landing page of my funnel, and they'd end up right here, right? So, and if somebody were to take the time to click through on this, there's a pretty good chance then that they're interested in what I'm doing here. And that's what I want. I don't want people clicking through that aren't interested in what it is that I'm bringing them to the landing page for. So, and I'm going to show you an ad very similar to what I did here that we actually ran to that landing page and show you that it actually performed really well because of some of the things that I'm talking about here. Now, lastly, before I wrap up here, you can see I can also look at what that ad's going to look like in the mobile news feed. So again, remember a lot of people are on their phone. I want to make sure that this question shows up. I'm not so concerned that all of this is showing up, but I want to make sure that question is showing up well. If I were going to put it on the right-hand column, this is how it would look, but I would probably just remove it from the right-hand column. And the audience network is where it shows up on third-party, third-party ad apps and things like that, and apps and mobile apps. I generally leave it there. I don't turn it off. It really hasn't done, I've noticed, doesn't done much good one way or the other, but it hasn't hurt, so I generally leave those in there. So if I'm just trying to drive cold traffic into my funnel, I'm focusing on the desktop news feed, the mobile news feed, and the audience network, and everything else is turned off. So that's really how you go about creating an ad. Certainly go in, try it out. You can try it all out and get used to it and all that stuff without actually placing your order. So, or you can place an order and just immediately turn it off so you're not spending any money. But it's just something to go get familiar with. But as you can see, this was not hard. This was not a difficult thing to do. And so literally in, 10 minutes that we've been in here, I could have an ad running and people coming into my funnel literally within a few minutes. And that's one of the things I said as I really love about Facebook ads. Now, once the ad has been placed, what it will do is it will show up in your ads manager like we were at before. So let me go through down here and show you a campaign that is similar to what I just went through and created the ad on. This was a campaign I created back in September. And let's just make sure we have the data here. So these are, as I said, within this campaign I had 3 ad sets. Let's start with the landing page ads. And then let's actually take a look at this ad. Okay, so this is the actual ad I ended up creating. Look, it looks pretty familiar, right? So what this says is, does your dog or cat have itching, scratching, biting, or gnawing problems? So again, I'm trying to attract people that would, potentially, this would jump out. This would resonate with them. The picture here resonates. It's weird, but when a dog or a person is looking at you, those pictures tend to do better than images where they don't have somebody looking right at you. So this is kind of a pretty, I think, a pretty grabbing picture. It kind of shows the bottle. It kind of shows the dog kind of not super happy about having all these toxins. And then notice down here we then have the little paragraph, discover how to handle these issues permanently and 100% naturally and learn more. And then again, they would click that and go to that same landing page that we were talking about earlier. So this was an actual ad that we have run. And you'll see that we spent on this ad, this one, go back, this was one that we only spent, actually want to go back and look at a different one. I'll look at the main ad set here. Yeah, this was better because this one we actually spent more money on. So let me go in here. And again, it's the same ad, so I don't need to show you this again. But this one ad ran, we spent about $84 on the ad total. We got 580 people that clicked on to the website. There's 580 people that went into our funnel as a result of running that ad. 580 people came to this page, okay, for $84. And they were 584 qualified people, right? People that we knew, for the most part, have these issues. I mean, what more could you ask for? And our cost per click was 15 cents. So we spent 15 cents to get people to show up to this page here. If you tried to do that with Google or Google AdWords, you'd probably be spending $5, $7 a click to get people to that page. So it's very inexpensive. And what this shows here is that our click-through rate was 4%. So of all the people that saw the ad, 14,853, 4% of those actually clicked. That's really good. That shows that we're hitting very good, relevant audiences, right? Because we're hitting the right people. If we weren't seeing people clicking through on the ad, then we would either be doing the wrong message or we would be hitting the wrong audience. So it's the key on an ad, the success of it is the audience and the content that's on the ad itself. But overall, this brought, as I said, 580 people into our funnel and for $84. I mean, and what those, I don't know off the top of my head, but I would suspect that 580 people probably turned into about 50 sales, and each sale was on average about $50. So if I do some quick calculations, $84 made $2,500. That to me is a pretty good return on investment. And that's what I mean by really taking paid ads and paid ads considerably, because 10 minutes worth of work and letting it run, this ran over, it looks like about a month, 3 weeks. And in that time period, as I said, we got 580 people that actually clicked on and went forward. So, and this is good, but it's not ridiculous. It's not anything that you couldn't duplicate and do yourself if you set up the ad and put it together properly. Okay, so a second thing to look at here is the ad reporting. So we've kind of looked at building an ad, and now we're looking at what you can see in the ad manager. But what I can now look at for this ad, so this just shows me 580 clicks, I can take that one step further with this breakdown tab. And let's say I want to see, well, who was actually clicking on that ad and who was doing the most of the clicks on the ad. Well, what I see here is that the majority of these clicks were done by, in fact, virtually all of them, were done by women between the ages of 45 and 65. So what that tells me is I want to go back and target that demographic. Why I don't want to target men that are 18, because men that are 18 are not probably very interested in this ad. But women between 45 and 65 are very interested in this ad. And there's other demographic data that you can get here, even around locations, region. Let's see if we can, and they keep adding other things in here. What they did, how they did it. Let's go back to delivery. Let's say locations. So there wasn't any real good data on location. Let's look at region. Yeah, so this is interesting. So it's showing me, if I were to sort the clicks here, that the majority of the people came from Texas, by far, interestingly enough. So maybe I would want to go and run ads just to people in Texas, that are, because I know that I got a very good result out of Texas. But for the most part, actually, I got pretty good results out of all of these states. And actually, the results are pretty good for the most part on a good chunk of states. So I'm not sure that Texas, even though it got the majority of clicks, and by far the largest results, yeah, it might make sense for you to break out an ad to do it there. But the point is I have data that I can use to make better decisions with and optimize what I'm doing. Because my goal is I want to get that click-through rate that we were talking about and that cost per click down. And if my click-through rate goes down, or rather goes up, sorry, if I have a higher click-through rate, so let's say that instead of 4%, I made this 5%, I'm going to pay less per click, and I'm going to even have a more relevant ad, and I'm going to get better results. So that's what I mean, is you can keep tuning and optimizing the traffic so that the traffic that you're getting is better and better and more qualified. And all of these reports and everything are available right here within the Facebook structure. So, okay, let me grab another drink of water here. So just to recap, we talked about creating an ad, we talked about using the ad manager, and then we talked about the reporting that goes on in the ad manager and how to use that. And really, these are the fundamentals of how you use a Facebook paid promotion. And like I said, you go in and you play with it and you get used to it, and you can get really quick and start to become quite fluent at driving traffic into your funnel. This is also one of the reasons I always say to start with Facebook as the tool for driving traffic into your funnel. Because let's say I'm getting 580 clicks into my funnel, but I'm not getting conversions, right? For whatever reason, people are not going through and buying Allergy Rescue. Well, if that's the case, then what that means is that my nurture and my conversion zone has got problems. And because I know I'm getting good qualified traffic here, I know I've got problems there. But if no one's clicking, then it knows that I'm not even getting to the right traffic. So again, you can use all of this to analyze your funnel and keep optimizing it as it goes along. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint, and I'm going to do a quick recap. So again, what we were demonstrating here is using Facebook promotions as a traffic source into our funnel. And we looked at the reporting and the analytics so that we were hopefully bringing in the best possible traffic into our funnel. If we know we've got that nailed, then we can start worried about or focusing on the nurture and conversion and see how well we're actually moving people through. But the other thing I wanted to cover before we ended off today is the retargeting. So what if people fall out? What if they go into your nurture zone and they fall out? How do you deal with that? So what you can do in Facebook is you can create, well, there's a couple things you do. And this is going to get a little techie, but you can look all of this up on the internet and get more data about it. But what you do is you put a little piece of code on on your page. So I would put a little piece of Facebook code on this page, and I would put another piece of Facebook code on this page, and so on. And what that Facebook code does is that when somebody comes to the page, that code gets triggered, and as a result, when it gets triggered, it creates what's called an audience in Facebook. So if I go back to Facebook Ad Manager and I look at audiences here, and you'll see I've got some audiences set up here. I have an audience for based upon the number of people that came, or to basically track the people that came to a specific page. So if they came to the opt-in page, then they would go into this audience. If they got to the mini training page, they would go to this audience. If they got to the sales page, they would get to that audience. So what that allows us to do is track different audiences and have different audiences that we're then building up. And what it's doing is it's putting, basically it's tracking and putting into that audience a list of people, Facebook users, that actually then reached each of those certain pages. So it has a list of people that reached the opt-in page, a list of people that reached the sales page, and a list of people that reached the mini training page. And those are all called audiences inside Facebook. And I can have many different audiences. I can create, as you'll see here, I have different audiences on people that have watched different videos and so on. So you can create these audiences based upon different actions. Now the question is okay, what do I do with those audiences? Well, when I go back up here to create ad, and let's go back and just go back to the same one we were doing, increase conversions on your website. Let's put the website in there again. Okay, did it stop? Try that again. Okay, it's not cooperating, so let me try this one more time. We're going to send people to the website. I'm going to put in the URL. Okay, that looks better. Now when I go to the next page here, if you remember before, we went in and we selected the interests and all that stuff. Well, here for retargeting, what we want to do is select an audience. So now what I can do is go through and select all of those different, or any of those audiences that I had set up and I showed you before. So let's say I only want to promote to people who have reached that opt-in page. Well, then I would have the audience there of the opt-in page, and I would only be retargeting people that have come to that opt-in page. That's why it's called retargeting, is that they're being targeted again based upon something that they did before. And then I'd go back and set up the ad just the way that I had done before. I would go back and actually set up the ad using the same process that we just went through. Now what that ad will look like, or how it could differ, if I go back to the ad manager, let's go back to that same campaign. So if you remember, I had an ad set that were retarget ads. And in this case, I actually created a video ad that was the retarget ad. But if I go into the ad, okay, notice that my question is a little bit different, right? I'm saying still looking to drain the toxins from your dog or cat, check out this special offer. So, and then I gave them a 10% off VIP discount. So I gave them a code that would allow them to get 10% off. Now, this was only to people that had already been to the site and that had already watched the video. So I knew I could communicate to them differently than people that were just cold traffic. You see, and that's the beauty of retargeting, is your communication is different based upon, because now they've already been to your site and they already know you in some way. And then our goal is to bring them back. So if they click now, they would come right back into our funnel and right back into the same funnel that we were going through before. I believe here I brought them right back to this page so that they could then go through and actually make the order. But this was all just part of the overall funnel at this point. So that's an example of retargeting. So think about that when you're putting your funnel together as, okay, I want to have ads that are not just going to bring in cold traffic, but ads that are going to retarget for people who fall out at different places in the actual funnel. And just yet another strategy for moving through the follow-up zone. Okay, so that's what this picture is here. We showed how you would do retargeting ads, and those are really the two places that we want to use Facebook ads. So that wraps up what I wanted to talk about today as it relates to paid Facebook traffic. If you haven't gotten your coaching call, we still have a couple of weeks left, so if you still want to sign up for the coaching call, the address coachingcallappointment.com, you can make an appointment for your call. Since there's nobody listening here today and I'm talking to myself, I don't have any questions, but thank you anyway. And hopefully this was helpful, and really be sure to watch webinar number 9, where we pull all of this together. So webinar number 9 is where we take everything that we've been talking about and look at how do we create this and turn this into a business? How do we turn this into what I call a funnel-driven business that is really going to allow you to scale and build a business and an asset and something that you can do cost effectively but with really good return on investment, and how you build on your different funnels so that you move people from one funnel to the next. And it's really important, and it really kind of ties everything together. So that's our last kind of bonus webinar, webinar number 9. It'll be up there in the replay portal when this comes up, so be sure to check that out as well. Anyway, thanks you for listening, and we'll talk soon. Take care.